Hello guys, thank you for tuning in. So welcome to MadMan. First of all, this is our 41st video and we've tried to do something special. Thank you for loving us. Thank you for watching our video. So what we've tried doing in this video is that I've invited 3 of my friends from college. Just to give you a little bit backstory, I came to the States in the January of 2016 to do my bachelor's, and that is where I met all of these 3 wonderful people. So we have a few topics that we're going to touch and hopefully do a healthy discussion and try to come to a conclusion. And if especially you're in your 20s and if you're watching this, I'm sure you're going to find a lot of helpful things in our video. So without any further ado, let me first of all introduce you to, I mean, not really introduce, because we're trying to keep it low. We're trying to be anonymous. So just say hi to the viewers.
Thank you for having us.
Hi everyone, thank you for having us, Anish.
Thanks. We're here.
Okay, so I have tried to formulate these 4 questions. So let's get straight to the point. So the first question that I've always questioned myself too is that since all of us are transitioning from college life to work life, and it can always be different and probably need some time to adapt to it, but most people in their 20s don't like 8 to 5 system. They don't like to work from 8 to 5. So the first question that I want to ask you guys is that if there was an alternative to 8 to 5 system, would you have chosen that? Or in other words, are we only accepting this 8 to 5 system only because we don't have any choice? What are your thoughts on that?
First question I have for you is, what other options were you talking? Is that there are so many options we could have. Like 9 to 5 is just in one option.
Mm-hmm.
Like what else could it be?
Yes, that's a really good question. I haven't given much thought to that, but so let's assume
Like maybe starting your own business, maybe
That's one thought, right?
entrepreneurship.
Like when I think about 9 to 5, it's only an option for us or anybody. There could be like thousands of options which we don't know, or which we want to talk about those things, or are we only focusing
So
on 9
the
to
thing
5?
is, right after you graduate, starting with a new company is kind of, you won't be knowing much about those things, right? Because
Basically, you're saying you don't have more options.
yeah. Also, yeah.
I think it also depends on the education system, right?
Yeah.
We were trained, we were educated, the classes we had, we were educated so that we could go out in a workforce, work for someone else. I don't think I've had opportunities or classes where they taught me how to start a business or how to be an entrepreneur. But I think this is the right track, because in order to start a business, I need to start somewhere, and for that, I need to learn. I don't think I learned enough in college, but working for a workforce, understanding the business has helped me understand how a business works. I think that would be a good start.
yeah, that's a really good answer. So what I was actually trying to ask is that I see a lot of people, lot of people's hatred towards this system, right? So you guys, so do you guys have any frustration over this system, or is there total acceptance because this is the only choice? I think that was what I was trying to get to. Is there total acceptance from you guys towards this system?
Yeah, so the thing is, the hate will come when you are actually into that stage, right? So right after when you graduate, you wouldn't know what you're gonna do.
Mhm.
You don't know if the 8 to 5 system is good or bad, or you don't even know what you're gonna do. Okay, and for me, personally, I think when I graduated, at that time, I didn't even know, like what I'm gonna do. Okay, all of my seniors, they were graduated, they got a job, they were on this 9 to 5 system. So I think that's a normal process, right?
Mm.
So there was no one who was like doing something by himself not into this whatever system that we call it. So for me, yeah, as the earlier guy told us, it will help you to establish your foundation, and from there, at some point, if you think it's 9 to 5 is not for you, then once you get that foundation, how the things works or how do you want to do with your life, then you can go from there. But in order to start up, like the other alternatives could be when you are in school, we can have a career coach who can help you. 9 to 5 is not just one thing that you can do right after you graduate. There's other options as well, but there needs to be someone who should be like coaching you.
So I think what I'm trying to get from you guys is that personally, you guys from your side, is there total acceptance towards this system? So I think it's a basic yes or no kind of question, right?
For me, it's not just a 9 to 5 system. The system that it goes around, like it's not just one system.
Mm-hmm.
The whole life and everything comes around. It's just basically our system itself. You feel like you're free, but you're not. Everything has like between its system. So it's just part of life, I think. Even though if you don't accept it, you are doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it will be easier for you if you accept it and enjoy it and do it. That's one way to take it for me. And also, like, we're human. We always look for something else.
Mm-hmm.
Like at the moment, we don't enjoy what we like or
Mm-hmm.
what we do. And we will always look for something else. That's kind of like human nature. But if you can keep balance between yourself, the acceptance, I don't think we need it.
So is that a yes from you? So is there a total acceptance from you?
No, I don't need to
to
accept it. I'm
No,
doing
no,
it doesn't mean that I have to accept it.
accept it? Okay, so no, there's not total acceptance, but still you're doing it because
But
kind of
you
you
could-
have to, right?
You could say that I'm doing it and it's total acceptance, but that's not what it is. Like I do have an option if I want to do something else,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not doing it doesn't mean that it's a total acceptance. Like we always look for something else. Doesn't mean that you're not having fun or doing what you like.
So you wanted to change.
If I wanted, I can change. I would do something else.
So you're saying you're not accepting it, but still you're choosing to do it, even though you have other choices. So what makes you keep doing it, even though you have other choices and you're not accepting it?
There's things that you don't need to accept, and then you still keep doing it. At least for me, I can do it.
I'm gonna be honest, it was the money for me.
Same here. Like money is good.
I wanted, as soon as I graduated, I wanted to get out of that place. We all come from the same place,
Mhm.
went to the same school. We all know what the place was like. I wanted to get out of the place, explore different parts of the country, and also uplift our life standards. And I didn't see a quickest way to do anything else that would give me money right away. If I'm gonna start a position in a company that's gonna pay me good, and if the money that I'm gonna get every bi-weekly or monthly is gonna help uplift my standard, why shouldn't I start?
Yeah, I think
So
this
are you saying that if someone else just pay you for doing nothing, would you choose that?
No, it's
And
not
do the
just
same thing.
money. Money is a driving factor.
Mhm.
Maybe for a month or so, second month, third month, you're in the system, you might realize that you're not growing personally, you're not growing professionally, you're not learning a whole lot.
Mhm.
That's when you should have a big question mark that, money might not satisfy you at that point if you're not growing and if you're not learning.
So I think this one thing that all of us can agree on is that most people choose this system because this is where we can make the most amount of money than anywhere else, right? So in some way, or I think mostly, money is the biggest factor in one way or the other, right?
Quickest way.
Quickest.
At the initial phase of your
Yeah.
career, whatever you say.
Because if you start a business, you wouldn't see yourself making money the second week, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or maybe there are other options where it's not a part of it. It's not being a part of a system. It's not dedicating your 8 to 5. It's not feeling obligated to wake up and work. But what are those other options?
So also, while we're bringing up this point, so at least for me, work is a transaction, right? I give my service with one hand, I receive money with other hand, and that's it. It's a transaction for me. But when I ask most of the people, especially who are in IT field, what they say is that it's not just a transaction for them. Like they're willing to sacrifice on the amount of money they get to have an opportunity to grow, right? So I see that it is not transaction for most people. What are your take? What is your take on this? Do you view it as a transaction, like you give service, you receive money, that's it, or you look at it as something that you want to keep doing your entire life? Kind of a platform where you can grow so that you can keep yourself engaged in this field for the rest of your life. Whatever you have. So what is your take on that?
So you cannot call it as a transaction, right? Transaction basically means the business. So what I think is, as you mentioned, like there might be some people who are willing to do it because they just like it, right? Yeah, but there might be other people who just love to do it and just for the sake of doing it, they are doing it. So they enjoy doing it. So for those type of people, it might not be a transaction. I don't know what's the definition of transaction for you, but as you said, like we work and we'll get money. So you are defining that as a transaction, right?
Yeah.
That might not be the correct term to use it for this one. So as I mentioned, like some people will do it because they enjoy doing it, and in order to like continuously do it, there needs to be some motivational factor, and for that they might be taking the money as one of the factor for them.
So for you, it's not just a transaction. What is it for you? Is it just a transaction or no? It's not.
No, I don't
No.
think so.
Okay. What do you guys think?
For me, it is. So basically, how I think, everything is a transaction. Life is a transaction. Whatever you do is a transaction. Based on, it doesn't have to include money. Right now, I'm giving you my time.
Mm-hmm.
It means transaction for me. Even though, like, I'm not, like, doesn't have to be money, Like, it can be
Kind of like satisfaction too.
the best thing I've learned in my classes.
Mm-hmm.
I took a economics class back in school, and there they taught me like opportunity cost.
Mm-hmm.
It was the like most important thing I have learned in my life. Everything has opportunity cost, and you can take it as like a cost for yourself or the time that you are spending to someone.
Mm-hmm.
It has a value, which means it is a transaction.
I've heard someone say that, where this guy, I don't want to name, but the way he was calculating, he was very analytical guy, and his wife
Mm-hmm.
was asking, maybe we should invite their far related cousins to their house for like a get together.
Mm-hmm.
But the husband thought it in an opportunity cost way, where if it's worth inviting the guy and their friends with the guys, if it's worth inviting them to their house, and what's going to be the cost and what's going to be the opportunity. So I see where you're coming from, where you're thinking about, is it worth spending my time with these people, and what do I get out of it?
Right.
And what do I get out of it is going to be the decision. If
The most important thing is that person calculated on his way. When you invite the other half of the person, like other side, is going to do the same, and they will decide whether to come or no.
Yeah.
Like even if they don't think about that way, but they will take a decision, and basically it is a transaction.
somewhere or not.
In some way or
Somewhere or
not, yes.
not.
And it doesn't have to even include money.
Yeah.
So even if you don't look at it from opportunity cost perspective, right? Because that's an economics term, but in regular life, for example, even when you choose to hang out with your friends, you're obviously getting something out of it, right? Maybe fun or satisfaction, or you want to get out of a hectic schedule or whatever it may be.
Yes.
But even that can be viewed as a
Yes.
transaction, right? So
Everything is a transaction.
I think basically everything is.
Everything is a transaction.
Well, I want to go back to the question you asked where you said, you said you didn't fit into the system because you feel like it was a transaction. Now you are serving something for the company and you're getting back money, but that's something you don't want to do in a long term because you're really not getting any value except money, right? Is that what you think?
Sorry, can you? So I think I didn't get the question properly. So are you saying that since I didn't like the concept of transaction, that is why I left it, or?
No, you said, I think you said was when you started working, you felt like it was a transaction. It is a transaction where, so you're doing a service for the system and you're getting money out of it,
Mhm.
and you felt like that's not something that I want to do long term. So I want to seek for different things in life.
Mm. So just like our friend mentioned earlier, that everything in life is a transaction, whatever it may be, right? So for me, it was not that I felt it as a concept of transaction, but I was just not happy doing it. I was just not happy doing it. So just like most people, money was the only factor for me, and that could not motivate me for long. I've always been a guy who wants to be happy while doing whatever it is that I'm doing. So I need to be happy while doing it, not after I do it or before I do it, while doing it. And that factor is something that I was not getting at 9 to 5 system. And that's the only reason I decided to quit it. But it is not the concept of transaction, because even this, whatever I'm doing now, even this is a transaction, but I like what I'm doing and I like what I'm getting. I like this transaction better than that transaction. You can put it that way. But basically, I am someone who always is looking for, am I happy while doing it? During the time of putting the action, am I happy? So I think that was the biggest factor.
So I got a question for you.
Mhm.
Happiness also has a cost, right?
Happiness has a cost.
Yes. Like in some way, it does. Happiness doesn't come free. Like you are doing it right now.
Mhm.
That's whatever you're doing right now.
Mhm.
Because you can afford it. You have the money to afford it.
Mhm.
You bought this. How much did you pay for this mic?
Probably $100.
$100.
Mhm.
Where does that money come from? Right. You need
Working, yep. Working
right?
9 to
You
5.
did
yeah.
9 to 5.
Mhm.
9 to 5. That's
Yeah.
how you buy this.
Mhm.
So happiness doesn't come free.
No.
Sometimes you have to trade off your happiness with
Mhm.
something else, or not just the happiness. Sometimes I would trade myself happiness for my sadness, or sadness for my happiness, vice versa. If I want to feel happy, like I'm, or sad at the same time, like I can't feel happy. Like it goes like this,
Mhm.
up and down, and also those have a cost. When you are feeling happy, this feels you happy, Mike feels you happy,
Mhm.
let you do whatever you want to do, makes you happy,
Mhm.
but it does have a cost.
Not just happiness, like everything has a cost.
No. So let me also make this point clear while you just ask this question. So how I came to this decision is that life is basically a chunk of time, right? From your birth to your death, it is a chunk of time. And so basically for me, I have to choose what I do, and during that time I need to be happy. So even if I'm just sitting without doing anything, I would prefer that to working 9 to 5 or whatever, right? So as you said, happiness comes with a cost. I totally do not agree to that, because even without doing anything, absolutely not doing anything, just sitting idle without doing anything, I'm happy. I can be happy, right? So, but basically, how I came to this decision is that how do I utilize this chunk of time so that when I look back at it from like 10, 20 years from now, I do not regret, you know? And this was the best decision that I could
So
come
I got a
with.
question for you. Like you are living your life
Mhm.
to look back when you are like 23, 20, 20, 40 years from now, and then look back and then you don't want to regret. So that means that you're not living the life. You're living for the future.
Yeah, that's a good question. But since I think that was the best way I could put it, but it is
Maybe
not
that's
just.
a part.
What is that?
That's a part of thinking.
Yeah,
That's just a part.
yeah. So that's just the way I put it. Not that I am always waiting for the moment from 20 years from now, but so basically the decision that I had to take was, what do I do now? And that has to be the best thing that I could do with the kind of resources that I have, right? So what is the best thing that I do now with the resources that I have? That has to be the best thing I could do for me, not for other people, for me. And this was the decision I came to.
But would you say you would not have been able to do this right out of college, though? Would you? Because having some savings in your life gave you the freedom to take this step in your life. Would you see yourself graduating right out of college and pursuing the path you are on right now?
So I would say no, not because that I did not have money, because I mean, if you look at it, $100 you could do Uber for a day and then you could collect this money, right? So, and also it is not that I have a bunch of saving that that could suffice me for next year or so, and then there is no saving that has given me the kind of guarantee or something, right? So not because of money, but because right out of college I'd never had 9 to 5 experience, so I kind of wanted to experience that, to see that, right, how it is, right? Because I never knew that. But when I got into that, then the decision was clear that it was not for me. So not solely because of saving purpose, but I needed to see what 9 to 5 was like, so that I did not have any other choice. Yeah.
I think it depends on
Where you come
what do you
from.
want to do with life in a long run. What's your vision of life in a long run? Some people are okay doing 9 to 5 their life
Mhm.
because that gives them the freedom to support their family.
Mhm.
They serve some time to the system, they serve other time with their family.
Mhm.
Maybe they get chunks of happiness in both of the places. Maybe for you, you didn't get any value from 9 to 5. You feel like maybe you're wasting your valuable time, and you wanted to seek happiness and you wanted to see something else that's valuable for you, not from 9 to 5. But for me, I can speak for me. I don't want to be in 9 to 5 for the long run. I don't want to be in the system working for someone else's vision.
Mhm.
I want to work for my own vision, but for that, I'm just trying to get enough skill set and enough experience so I could start something that I want to pursue, which get happiness if I start that dream, or if I start that vision.
Yeah. So thank you for tuning in, guys. We'll eat some dinner. All those noises, if you're hearing, it is from us cooking. This is literally a set up in a kitchen table. But if you discard those noises, I think there is a lot of new perspective to learn from this. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back after dinner.
All right. See you
Thank you,
after
guys.
dinner.
See you.